Greetings. Greetings again. I'm your boy Drew. This is How Was Your Day podcast. I'm always joined by the two hosts with the most, the co-host, whatever you want to call it. I'm joined by the man on my left, Smith, CEO. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Blessed as always. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Blessed. And once again, we got our boy Danny. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic, man. Thank you for having me again.
No problem. And the mysterious guy with the shades at all times.
You already know.
GQ Nesto, how you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All right. And then, calling in over the airways, we have a special guest today. She's been on our show in season 1, dropping some good medical and public safety and health information for us. We got Miss Brittany. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Amazing. And thank you for being on our show today. But today,
Thank you for having me.
No problem. But today we don't want to take too much of your time, and we want to get right to the nitty gritty. All right, we want to talk about these vaccine mandates. Right. One thing I want to put out there is the information that you're going to hear today is opinion based. All right, we're not like legal counsel or anything like that. Right, we're just going off of things, our own personal experiences, and what we have researched in our own time, whether right or wrong. We just ask you to please respect our opinions. And California was the first state in the nation, in the country, to put some mandates in place, right? And with that, I want to read something that I researched. All right, so it says something I came across. It said all healthcare workers must be vaccinated against COVID-19 by September 30th, but however, the requirements for the state employees and school staff are less stringent, all right? They must show proof of vaccination or be tested on a weekly basis. President Biden issued 2 executive orders last week requiring federal employees and contractors to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Or they have to get tested on a weekly basis. He also asked the Department of Labor to issue an emergency for businesses with more than 100 employees to ensure all of their workers were vaccinated or tested on a weekly basis. With all these mandates and things that have been going on in the news lately, how does it make you feel? We're going to start with GQ Nesto. How does this make you feel hearing all this information about the mandates? What were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were, whatever is going to keep me safe and keep my family safe. But then, you see a lot of videos where you see a lot of, people doing horse activities, you know what I mean? Having like twitching moments and stuff like that. Not to make fun of it, but you know what I mean? You're actually... It may have some side effect, like 1 in a million type of side effect. So it kind of got me scared. So I was at first I was pro, and I was actually willing to get it, but now I don't know. It's a tough one.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, Danny, what is talking about what we just brought up? How did you feel on your initial thoughts of hearing these mandates and things like that regarding the vaccine?
I think it's a violation of our American rights of freedom of choice here when it comes to mandating a vaccine that hasn't even had enough data to show if there's any type of adverse effects or how beneficial it actually is. The facts are that they continuously release more data that's supporting more and more booster shots, and that the vaccine doesn't last. So for me, it made me mad that you're going to try to force me to have something that I'm not agreeing to get in order to have employment. That infuriates me, and I feel very violated as an American citizen.
Well said. Smith, CEO, how do you feel?
I'm agree with Danny on that in the same aspect. When I first heard, I was like, yo, this is some bullshit. Like, this is America, land of the free because of the brave. You can't force me to do shit. I don't care who says what. Like, you can't force nobody to do anything in this country. So that was my first opinion, and then I was very vocal about it at first online. I got a lot of people hitting me like, why are you so against vaccines? And I'm like, I'm not against vaccines. I'm just pro-choice. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. Like, don't shit on me because I'm not getting the shit. Like, I'm not putting nothing in my body that I can't back up with actual facts, and that's just my own personal opinion. I don't down anybody for getting the vaccine. If you want to get it, by all means, get it. Do you, boo boo? Just, don't shit on other people for their opinions.
Okay, and we got like a very, very knowledgeable person on this subject and in the conversation with us today. Miss Brittany, what are your thoughts about the vaccine and our, I would say our perception? Are we right? Are we wrong? How does it work?
I don't think that anybody is right or wrong in this situation because I was on both sides of the fence in the very beginning. At first, when the vaccine first came out, it was not something that I wanted to put in my body, and I was actually steering my family and my friends away from it because there wasn't enough research and data, to my knowledge, that would make me feel comfortable in getting it or suggesting it to anybody that I love. So in the very beginning, I was very against it. But obviously, we thought that this COVID would blow over eventually through herd immunity or people that are vulnerable getting the vaccine, and it hasn't. It's still going, and it's getting worse. So as more research was collected and data was collected, it kind of swayed my opinion. And I think what hit home for me is seeing friends and family being affected and contracting COVID and having to deal with those debilitating symptoms that they had to deal with. So I had to make a choice, and I did get the vaccine. So the whole mandate, I do agree 100% with.
Okay, and from what you've seen, is it, you would say underlying health conditions is what is a big attribute or a factor in what you're seeing on your personal experience from your day to day? Or is it like, wow, this virus is out here really taking people down?
So the virus doesn't discriminate. It does tend to affect a lot of the population where the people do have ailments, where they have diabetes or they're obese or they have other pre-existing conditions that can compromise their immune system. They can have all of these things present, and that kind of works against them. So it's just one more thing to tack onto their immune system that they can't really handle. But there are also healthy individuals out there that have underlying medical conditions that they're not fully aware of. Not everybody participates in their health the way that they're supposed to. Not everybody goes and gets the annuals like they're supposed to and gets blood work and stuff like that. So a lot of people do have underlying issues that they are unaware of until they contract COVID, or by chance they get COVID and their body doesn't really accept it the way that it's supposed to or break it down the way that it's supposed to. So I think that it's for everybody's safety. It would be safe for all of us to follow the necessary precautions for us to get back to normalcy, or which we think is normal, or how we've been living our lives prior to COVID hitting us.
I understand. Do any of you guys have anything you want to share or go against what you just heard? What is your opinion?
Hell yeah, I do. Do you?
I'll let you take the floor first.
Okay. This is my proof behind this whole me being a little hesitant. I mean, obviously, I'm an actual kidney transplant recipient, so it's a little different for me, right? I have a condition that obviously compromises my immune system. Now, this is based on the conversation that I had with my personal doctor. Obviously, everybody's health conditions and whatever they have is different compared to myself. But this is what I was told. If my immune system is compromised, there's no actual guarantee in any capacity that is going to help me fight it. Only why? The fact that since my immune system is compromised, there's a slight possibility that this whole vaccine would basically just slide off of me. So whatever the damage might be by injecting something that's going to go through my body, and then God knows what I'm going to do after, that has nothing to do with my, whether it's going to be beneficial to me or not. So what did exactly my doctor say? My doctor said it's a preference that you're going to have to take. It's a decision that you're going to have to take, because she is very understanding in how I feel about what I put in my body. Now, obviously, I'm not going to lie. I turn up, I whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I put worse things in my body than a vaccine. But something that's prepared like a cup of noodle soup, and then you expect me to just, inject it in my body, I mean, I would be a little bit hesitant. So there's a lot more to it. So I'm kind of a little bit hesitant because of that, because I just feel like, first, there's not enough research. And then second, like, is it even going to be worth it or not? And that's the part that nobody can give me a guarantee versus, some other, vaccine, like, the flu shot. I get the flu shot all the time, and it helps. And I know it does help because I've proven it. But now, is this going to help? I don't know.
Now, Danny, like, what do you think as far as, okay, so we know that people have, transitioned, as you would say, whether you're religious or not, all right? We all come with a birth date and a death date, all right? That's something that's unavoidable, like taxes. So knowing and seeing that, like, people are transitioning out of this life, why do you think people are still hesitant when they're saying, oh, this person, he or she, contracted COVID-19, and that was pretty much the reason why they passed away? Why do you think people are still like, nah, I still ain't getting this vaccine?
Well, I think it boils down to the American way of life and what our founding fathers, the constitutional freedoms of choice that we have here, and why our ancestors originally even came over here looking for freedom, was because of that. Now, to speak specifically about Brittany and her statements that she went and got the COVID vaccine, because initially she was against the vaccine because of the undocumented data and support in the vaccine was so new, etc. But then she's seen it have a detrimental impact on her family and friends that were close to her, which caused her to go ahead and support the mandate. The mandate specifically is what we're speaking on, not necessarily the COVID vaccine directly, but that we as American people are being forced to comply to a governmental order which is violating our constitutional right of freedom of choice. Now, when it comes to the COVID vaccine and forcing me to take the COVID vaccine, now I'm not American. You took away my God-given right, and it should be my right in choosing whether I get a vaccine or not. If I happen to die from not having a vaccine, that was my choice. Now, when it comes to, in contrast with the flu shot, if I go get the flu shot and you don't, for example, I'm not worried if you have the flu because I have the vaccine. So forcing you to go get the flu shot because I have the flu shot, that's what we're really talking about. Because I have it, now I'm drawing a line in the sand and saying, if you don't get it, now you're my enemy. Now you're not one of us. And that's what the government is essentially doing through this mandate, is saying, hey, if you don't get the vaccine, you're not American anymore. And that is the real issue that's going on here.
All right, I know, Smith CEO, you've had some strong thoughts on this subject. What do you think? How can we progress from this point? Because I know it's 2021, and if I say tomorrow that I'm a zebra, you have to address me as
I gotta address you as zebra.
I'm Mr. Zebra. Yeah. All right. So choice is always good. And that is our God-given and American right. But how do we fix this? Like, what is the solution?
I mean, Danny hit it right on the head, and so did Brittany. With the way they see it. My whole thing is the narrative behind it. They're trying to push it as if they care for our health.
Right.
If they cared for our health that fucking much, insulin would be free. You know what I'm saying? Dialysis would be free.
So
Chemotherapy would be free.
So what is it? Why is it there?
Fucking gym memberships would be mandated. If they really cared about your health in America,
So what is it? What are we not seeing in your opinion?
the narrative behind it, they're trying to force you for your safety. It's never been about your safety. If they cared about your safety and your health that much, fucking McDonald's wouldn't be around. Burger King wouldn't be around. All the shit that's bad for you would be fucking excluded if they gave a fuck about your health.
Bro,
They
you
don't
just
care
got some
about your
chicken
health.
nuggets
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If they really cared about your health the way they're pushing the health situation, then they would ban a whole lot of other shit. You know what I mean? And other shit would be free.
Hey,
Like the vaccine. You know what I mean?
Really
Hey,
good, though.
McDonald's fries be popping. I'm not knocking the
What I will
McDonald's
say-
fries. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead, Brittany.
Money makes the world go round. Though.
Exactly.
If they have more of the population alive, then they can still benefit from pharmaceuticals. They can still benefit from unhealthy lifestyles. They can still benefit from people going to gyms and having memberships to maintain that way of life. Money makes the world go round, and it'd be a lot easier if we had a good portion of everybody alive to keep that happening. And to go to the freedom of us as individuals living in America, I want to take it all the way back to potentially 1619, when some of us didn't have the same freedoms and we were forced to do things that we didn't want to do.
Ew.
So if you want to look at it as being forced into doing something, I want you to take a look back in history on some of the population of people doing things that they didn't want to do, but they had to do them because it was supposed to be right at the time. When it comes to
you're going back to 1600s. The founding fathers established the country in the 1700s.
So the founding fathers, I don't know if you know everything about the founding fathers, but not everything was good.
Agreed.
Okay.
So if we're going to highlight something like that, we need to highlight and look at the whole person and what they all entailed, not just what our history books want to tell us.
I know.
Because we both know that not everything is in there. But when it comes to something that's supposed to be mandated to get everybody back to normalcy, I don't think that it's asking much. Yes, you still have the choice, but it's also a company's choice to invite the people that want to comply, or politely ask the people that don't want to go on and live their life and not be a part of that business. Because if you think about it in the hospital, I think it's legitimate for them to want to mandate that to the nurses, the medical staff, because you're supposed to go to a hospital to heal. If they're the people that are providing your care aren't doing the best they can do to keep themselves in good health, to make sure that they can take care of the person that's needing that health to be nurtured, why are you there?
And I believe that's something that I had ran across too. Myself and GQ Nesto and I had a conversation about, like, do doctors really care? And as a point, of course, it's their profession, it's what they went to school for, their dream or whatever, childhood, whatever it be. Then maybe they looked at it from a financial aspect. But regardless of the fact, I think you can get frustrated in any job, right? So I think about 2 weeks ago, I saw a lot of internet stories about doctors being upset that people who didn't support the vaccine was in there because they contracted COVID-19, and people who were in there dying of cancer or suffering of cancer or whatever disease have you were being pushed out of the hospital. So one guy went on, got social media or something like that, and he vocalized his frustration. Like, my wife died because somebody who didn't support the vaccine took her bed,
Right.
and she had to go home. So at some point,
But
like you said, but no, just like he said in one of our previous episodes, it's called about taking self-accountability, right? So because I'm a young stud that I am, right, I didn't take the vaccine, and I'm not ashamed of saying that I've taken the vaccine. I took the vaccine because my parents are older. Like, God forbid I go visit them and they come here and they contract something.
But the
because of
vaccine
my
doesn't stop you from
irresponsibility.
spreading it.
There's been a lot of people.
It doesn't stop me from
And it doesn't stop you from
spreading it.
getting it.
There's been a lot of people contracted with the vaccine.
After the
Are
vaccine,
they
my
passing
sister's
away
whole
though?
family just got COVID fucking bad.
Wait,
and
wait,
they've
wait,
all
wait,
been
wait,
Are they
wait,
vaccinated.
passing
wait,
away?
wait.
They're not.
Hey, we're getting off subject here. This whole subject is about the government mandating, not whether or not getting the vaccine is beneficial or not beneficial. It's the forcing the American people to comply. And in my opinion, for somebody to sit there and say, hey, you have to get the vaccine in order to work, I do actually side with Brittany on there is certain professions. I'm a veteran, and I know I had to get anthrax shots and smallpox vaccines and all kinds of vaccines in order for me to be the asset that I was for Iraqi freedom and all the other operations that bunch of hundreds of thousands of other service members who are alive and who have given their life for this country were had to take in order to complete a job. So on one aspect, for medical professions, nurses and doctors, and anybody who's interacting with people that are sick and need to be healthy, yeah, of course, that should be something that is done. Like, hey, you need to be here, and if you